This story from the Panchatantra suggests that the giving away of money is as old as making of money. And those who believe that philanthropy did not exist in India are wrong. When I think of 1 billion people thriving, the story also suggests that the making of money is the beginning of the process of giving money. And yet it's sad that so many highly educated, idealistic young people have contempt for money grubbing, as they call it. Well, in India it's not surprising because for 40 years we were taught that profit is a dirty word. This was a time, we call it license Raj, when tax rates rose to 97.5%. Now with that, how can you save money and how could you have philanthropy? But fortunately, this all changed in 1991 and India rose economically, prosperity rose, middle class rose, the poor also began to rise. And in our history, the merchant or the businessman was a respected figure. When people went away on pilgrimages, they left their keys and their money in the care of the shopkeeper or the merchant. And so we are, in a sense, recovering this ethos today because with prosperity, Indians are widely practicing the old merchant's advice, the fourth part of his advice. And the Dasra Bain reports prove that individual philanthropy has been growing in recent years faster than government spending on welfare and faster than corporate social responsibility. How do we embed the ethic of philanthropy? Every business family struggles with this problem. The great German novel Buddenbrooks, which I think is the best novel about a business family, describes the typical story where in the first generation the old man makes money, works hard. The second generation has money. They don't want more money, but they want power. So a few members of the family become senators. In the third generation, the money is there, power is there. They want something different. And the young man becomes a violinist. And so the decline begins because there's no one to look after the money and finally it's gone. So this is why we have a saying in India, Haveli ki umar 60 saal. The life of a business family is 60 years. So philanthropy does need a society to respect making of money. And this time now in India is a time of startups. Respectability has grown. And even though young people from elite colleges feel contempt for money making, there's a lot of excitement around this in our age of startups. I want to end with a charming story from the 12th century, from a collection called Katha Sarit Sagara, which means the ocean of stories. And it's told in this book that I have been holding called The Mouse Merchant, translated from the Sanskrit by my friend Arshia Satar, which tells a story of making money and then maybe giving it away. Here's how the story goes. The hero of the mouse merchant is a poor boy. His father died before he was born, and his mother cleans houses for a living. When he grows up, she says, "Son, you're destined for greatness, not to clean houses like me." She advises him to go to a house nearby which belongs to the richest merchant in town. And she says, "Go and wait for him, and maybe he'll give you some advice." So the boy goes there, and while waiting for the merchant the next day, he sees a dead mouse in the courtyard. And when the merchant comes out, he asks him, "Can I have this mouse?" And the merchant laughs, and he says, "Of course, you'll be doing me a favor. But don't you want anything else?" And the boy says, "No, that's fine." And so the boy goes and he sells that dead mouse for cat food to a widow that he knows in his neighborhood. With the few paisa that he gets, he goes to the market, buys chana, from which he makes little packets, puriyas, and he takes a pitcher of water and goes and sits in the town square. In the afternoon, loggers come from the forest with heavy logs of wood on their heads, and they put them down to rest. And while they wait, the boy goes around and he gives a chana, puriya of snack food, and water to each one. They're so happy, they each give him a log because they have no money to give. And so the boy the next day does the same thing. He sells a log of wood, gets more snack food, makes packets slightly better this time because he has a little more money, and he repeats this every day for 3 months until he has a house full of logs. The monsoon rains come, the price in the timber market shoots up because the logging has stopped, and the boy starts selling one log at a time in the timber market, and in a few weeks he has made a killing, and with the money that he has made, he buys a shop in the timber market. After a few years, he realizes that there's more money to be made from making ships from the wood than selling the wood alone. And so he gets himself a partner, a carpenter who's a ship maker, and he's in the shipbuilding business and he's thriving. But again, after a few years, he realizes there's more money in shipping. And so he gets a partner again who's a shipper, and he starts sending freight, he starts sending passengers, and so he is doing, and pretty soon, before he's in his mid-20s, he has become the richest man in town. He asks the merchant from where he got the dead mouse, he goes to a jewelry shop and he asks him to make a gold mouse. And with that gold mouse, he goes to that merchant and he gives it to him and tells him his story. The merchant's so happy that he gives his daughter away in marriage to this boy. A nice story. And if we think about it, he has given away the gold mouse. Now think of the gold mouse as giving back to society which nurtured us, and which in fact was his matter of luck, that his venture capital was a dead mouse. And so with this inspiring story, I want to wish you a good day.